Hello guys, welcome back to another episode of the Farming Chefs. Today we're gonna talk about transplanting. Let's show you how we do it. So before we get into that, let me explain it. Why do we seed in these trays inside the greenhouse before we put the plants outside? Well, we gain time by seeding it inside the greenhouse because it's warmer, and as soon as the weather hits, we're gonna plant it straight outside. Another reason is we wanna have all the spots on the beds outside completely filled. So if we gonna direct seed outside anything and it doesn't come up, we're gonna have empty spots, and an empty spot is you losing money. So we like to seed more than what we need in these trays and fill up completely the bed. So our beds are always completely filled with plants, never an empty spot. We leave the empty spots for the trays. We like to seed our plants in these little trays. They're very nice. They're 124 plugs, I think. They're very compact. They fit a lot of them everywhere. We have them because we used to do seed production in Italy, so we had them by the hundreds. They were for free. Funny enough, in Portugal, you have to pay for them. So we kept them. That was a good move from us. We seed almost everything in these little plugs except bigger seeds. So when it gets to bigger seeds, we go to this little bit bigger pot. We have them the same way. We like to put here pumpkins, courgettes, melons, watermelons. So they're a little bit bigger plants when they germinate. So we keep them here, but they do the same job. Okay, so there's different ways I check if my plants are ready for transplant. The first way I check the plants is to see if the cotyledons, that's the baby leaves, it's called also as seed leaves, as when they turn yellow and they start to fall, it's a sign that the plant should be transplanted to a bigger pot or to the ground. This is a sign of nutrient deficiency, this yellow. The second way I check, for example here, it's by the size of the plants on the top. For example, this tray here, if you look to these plants, they look very small to be transplanted. But if you look the plug under, I'm gonna show you right here, and if you take a look at this little plant, the plug is completely full of roots. So it means that it's time to go to another bigger space. As soon as the roots of this plant will start to root bound in this little plug, you're gonna have a deficiency on strength of growing outside the plant. Because for the ones who don't know, root bounding is when the roots start to go in circular without ever coming out again. You're gonna have a smaller plant, produce less, not so strong. So not actually what you want. So I did a little bit of mob seeding here. So I put the okra here, I mob seeded, and I'm just gonna show you a perfect time to transplant your plants. This would be perfect. A central root with a few side root shoots, and it is ready to go to a bigger pot individually. While transplanting, sometimes it happens when you have, before the spring starts, you don't have enough sunlight. So your little plants start to reach to the sky, so they got a very long and thin plant. That happens when there's not enough light. And a way to resolve this problem after the transplanting, or when you're transplanting, is as you go to transplant it, you have to transplant it deeper into the ground. So you bury that stem half of what it is, so it becomes a stronger stem. Because if you transplant it the same height there it is, it will go outside and it will bend down. This is especially the case with the tomato plant. So we're gonna transplant some cauliflower, Romanesco. We're gonna check our criteria of if it's ready or not. Oh, the roots are well developed. Check here on the underside. So this is a little plug that is ready for transplant. I got here a little pot with soil that I made this morning. It has some perlite and vermiculite. Perlite to drain the water, vermiculite it's to hold the water. So we do a little mix of both and we're safe. We put 2 fingers and we just put it on the soil, front, back a little bit. You get the plug. Make sure both of them are well watered. Not soaking, but well watered. And you just leave the plug inside, 4 fingers, press a little bit. So sometimes you have this, there's 2 little plants on the pot, on the plug. If you have a lot of plants, just take one and kill it, it's not a problem. If you see that the germination was not so good and you have less plants than what you think about, every time you get 2, you break the pot in half and you separate the plants. leaving both plants with roots. This is exactly what we're gonna do right now. We're gonna transplant first one. And we do the second one. And voila, 2 plants out of 1 plug. So we're done inside in the greenhouse. We transplant everything that we needed to transplant. Right now we're gonna go outside and we're gonna plant directly on the field. So, shall we plant some things?
Let's plant something.
Let's go. I'm just gonna put a string down through the middle of the bed and we're gonna plant the peppers there.
Not all plants need to be transplanted into bigger pots before putting them into the garden. Most plugs you buy can be planted straight into the open field. Because we did not yet have electricity on the farm, we decided to buy some hot germinators such as peppers and aubergines from our local garden center, which we are now planting straight into the soil. It's pretty nice.
Look,
Yeah, there's still the seed on the
there's
leaf.
still the little seed on the leaf.
That's cool. Into the open field we transplanted strawberries, aubergines, a few tomatoes, some peppers and yard-long beans. Renato is now transplanting all our trees that we got up from seed. They were planted in these small containers and now they're getting transplanted into larger containers because they'll spend some time here before we put them into the field. Unfortunately, we are still forced to irrigate by hand as our installation is not ready. This is due to health problems from the person involved and very unfortunate, but we'll just have to deal. The garden is full. A lot of irrigating. A lot of watering. Alright, that was it for today. I hope you enjoyed our content, and if you do, subscribe, like, comment below. See you on the next one.
Farming chefs.
Peace out.